Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning. Hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we just hit 4,220 subscribers to the channel. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers, and a special tip of the cap goes to the channel members, especially elite channel members Brendon, Mikel, Hasher, Salacious, Crumb, Ryguy, Brendan Nelson's Haircut, VGK Tigers, TlVlO, Austin Roberts, Scott Todd, PH Glass, Aaron Garrett, Eiferman, 12th Man, Eli Bennett, Castillo Feria, Samoan, JoJo, and Rep the 206. And today we will be talking about a player that many people who are Seahawks fans are hoping is reunited with the Seahawks this offseason. So this afternoon slash evening, a few interesting things happen, and I don't usually make videos about things like this because they're a little, I don't know. I don't know what exactly the word would be. I guess you could say it's just a little bit too based in things that they end up not meaning a lot of the time, right? But in the case of Richard Sherman, it's not unreasonable to be trying to read the tea leaves to the best of our abilities. So earlier today, Richard Sherman posted this picture on Instagram, captioned "Good times with my guys," and one of the people pictured is Bobby Wagner. We have a guy here wearing a Seahawks hat. And yeah, this sparked some discussion in the comments, and of those comments, one of them belonged to one Bobby Wagner, and that inspired this little article from Kartik Mathur of thesportsrush.com. Richard Sherman being recruited by Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner. He commented, Wagner, on that a picture I just showed on Instagram, he commented, "Good times in Seattle, huh?" So people have interpreted that with some degree of reason, at least, as him attempting to recruit Richard Sherman back to the Seahawks. Those guys spent years and years playing together. They won a Super Bowl together. They made all pro teams together. Of course, Wagner would want Richard Sherman back. So, even putting this to the side, we know that Sherman has basically said there are only two likely teams that he can go to this offseason, with one third sleeper team looming in the background. It's going to be either the Seahawks or the 49ers, and the Las Vegas Raiders are kind of looming in the background to swoop in if both teams pass. So either way, it is seeming very likely that Richard Sherman ends up a Seahawk or 49er this offseason. So let's talk about my perspective on that, because I know a lot of you guys would be excited about it. Some of you guys wouldn't, but here's my take. So, Pete Carroll, as a head coach, has many deficiencies, especially now. I think as the years have gone by, he's lost his willingness to take risks. He's lost his ability to inspire the team in the way that he used to when, there are big games around the corner. I do think there are some things missing, but one thing that Carroll has generally always done pretty well with, and an area that Carroll, I think, has always managed to hold his own in at least, is grooming cornerback talent. Okay? If there's one thing that Carroll should still be able to do, it's turning chicken crap into chicken salad at the cornerback position. He's been doing it his whole career. Richard Sherman was kind of the first example of that. This was a fifth round pick that nobody thought anything of, and he turned into a quality starter a few months into his rookie season, and by year two, he was elite. That's not the only example. That's the biggest one. But you have Brandon Browner, you have Byron Maxwell. Trey Flowers gave us 2 good years as a converted safety who we picked in the fifth round. Justin Coleman, we traded a seventh round pick for, and he was a great nickel for us for a few years. Um, Walter Thurmond and Jeremy Lane. These guys gave us some pretty good years despite not coming from great draft pedigree. We have never spent a top 100 pick on a cornerback outside of Shaquille Griffin, I don't think. And hey, Shaquille Griffin, late-ish third round pick, turned into a Pro Bowler for us for 1 year, and he did give us good quality snaps as a cornerback. So that's another example. Obviously, last year kind of went off the rails, but even last year, he found DJ Reed, a guy the 49ers threw away, and he turned DJ Reed into a quality starting cornerback. So I look at this cornerback roster right now, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't you rather let Carroll try to work his magic on these guys because that's what he does instead of bringing in a guy like Sherman who we know is old, we know is slow, and we know can't really stay healthy that well anymore? I mean, you got DJ Reed who last year played really well for us. Akella Witherspoon, he's got all the talent in the world. Trey Brown, the cornerback, the rookie, excuse me, the rookie cornerback we just drafted. Why not swing with that? I mean, we've had good rookie cornerbacks in Seattle in recent years plenty of times, so it's not unreasonable to expect Trey to do it. And don't completely dismiss a guy like Trey Flowers. It's a contract year for him. He does have something to prove. He played better as the year went on last year. And then you got guys like Brian Mills, Pierre Desir, Demarius Randall. I kind of feel like you'd rather just let Carroll try to work his magic with these guys. Now, what if Sherman would be willing to come in for really, really cheap, like veteran minimum or veteran minimum plus? Then you don't really have that much to lose. You can put Sherman out there for the start of the season. You know he's going to get hurt because that's what he does now, but you can try to get a few hundred snaps out of him, and once he goes down, then you do what you have to do. But I don't get the sense that Sherman's going to be signing for any tiny contract. I think he's going to want to get at least a little bit of money. And at this point in the offseason, it doesn't matter that much, but it has to matter some. And looking at Richard Sherman over the last few seasons for the 49ers, um, he hasn't played a full season since 2016. Now, he did play 14 games in 2018 and 15 in 2019. And by the way, I'm not taking anything away of what he did about what he did in 2019. He had a great season, but let's take a look at his most recent season, 2020, because that's the most important thing when we're evaluating a player, right? What have you done for me lately? Played in 5 games, had 1 interception, 1 pass deflection. Let's look at these coverage numbers. In 5 games, okay? In 5 games, Sherman gave up 21 receptions. That's about half of what he gave up in 3 times as many games in 2019. So in 2019, he was giving up less than 3 receptions a game. In 2020, he was giving up more than 4. Completion percentage went up about 10 points. He allowed almost 200 yards in coverage in 2020 in just 5 games. That's 40 yards allowed in coverage a game. In 2019, you can clearly see that it's not even double what it was in 2020, despite him playing in 3 times as many games. So if you take a look at these coverage metrics, look, 4 touchdowns. Richard Sherman allowed 4 touchdowns in coverage in 2020 in just 5 games. So are you sure you're getting what you think you're getting if you bring in Richard Sherman to be one of our cornerbacks? PFF will paint a pretty compelling picture that this is a player on the other side of his career. PFF grade last year was not bad, about 68. Okay, but if you take a look at what he did in 2019, 89, you can see a player clearly in decline. And I know the Niners had injuries up and down their defense, but they still had a really good defense last year. They still were able to get to the quarterback. They still had a successful defense. So most of what you will see from a cornerback is contextual, but Richard Sherman's context was not that bad. And I'm just looking at these coverage numbers and thinking, if this is what he's doing at age 32, I don't know if I want to see him do that, see what he's going to do at age 33, unless it's for another team. All of these coverage metrics are, I mean, pretty much all of them are noticeably worse. So I don't know if I'm seeing a big improvement between what Sherman would probably give us in 2020 and what we can get from the guys already on this roster at cornerback. And the final thing I want to leave you guys with, because I just said cornerback play is largely contextual, remember that we are supposed to have a very good pass rush this year. We have assembled this pass ruch to be consistently fresh and consistently able to rotate players in and out. So a big reason why Shaq Griffin and Quentin Dunbar looked so bad last year was because their context was bad because we couldn't get to the quarterback until we traded for Dunlap. By the time we got Dunlap, Dunbar was already basically toast. Shaq Griffin did play better after we got Dunbar. DJ Reed being able to break out to the degree that he did was in large part because Dunlap was helping the pass rush so much by the time DJ Reed got a chance to play. So if you take a look at our cornerback depth and you don't feel confident in those guys, you got to remember their jobs are going to be much easier than the job was for our cornerbacks last year just because we should have a much better pass rush. The best thing we can do for cornerbacks in Seattle is to make sure we have a good pass rush. And in my estimation, we've done a really good job of that this offseason. Even if our pass rush lacks a single dominant player, it should feature a very nice rotation of quality players that are able to keep the juices flowing with the pass rush. So, as the Sherman to Seattle talks heat up, I understand some people are going to get excited, and I'm at least interested. He's another body. I do think he's probably going to be better than a guy like Pierre Desir or Demarius Randall. But don't be surprised if he's not that much better than those guys anymore. This is a guy who was never fast. Now he's even not faster. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't really get excited for the Sherman thing. I don't know if I see the obvious improvement. I don't know if I see him having a good season. I don't know if I see him staying healthy. There are other free agents out there that would actually excite me, but Sherman, I don't know if I see it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, Go Hawks. See you guys later today. Maybe we'll get some OTA updates, but let me know what you think about Sherman in the comments, and I'm out.